The astrology of the month is definitely interesting. We have some major movements, and so I'm going to explain the astrology, the transits for the next 2 weeks. I will touch base on everything that's going to happen this month, everything that is major that is going to happen this month, and then I get into more of my deeper notes. So February 1st, we had the full moon in Leo. On the 3rd, Uranus stationed direct in the sign of Taurus. On the 6th, Mercury goes into Pisces. On the 10th, Venus goes into Pisces. On the 13th, this is a big one, Saturn is going into the sign of Aries. This is really big for our cardinal signs, and this is for sun and rising. On February 17th, we have the Aquarius new moon. Again, this is another really big transit. This is the Chinese Lunar New Year. It is also a beginning of a new eclipse cycle of that Aquarius Leo eclipse axis. And then on the 18th, the sun goes into the sign of Pisces. On the 20th, Saturn conjuncts Neptune in the sign of Aries at 0 degrees, which is the Genesis point. And I can't express how just what, like I don't have words. I don't have words to say what a big deal this is. This hasn't happened in over 5,000 years. I actually calculated exactly how long ago it happened. It was a very long time ago, and that's in my notes somewhere, but I don't have it right now. Anyways, so, and then on February 26th, Mercury goes into retrograde. Yay! So the stretch of astrology from now until Valentine's Day is asking us to slow down. It's asking us to feel deeply and to respond rather than to speak on impulse. Don't react is basically what it's saying. At the very beginning of the week, Mercury and Venus both have supportive connections with Chiron, which is the planet of our core wounds. This can bring moments of realization around where we still feel tendered, where we still feel triggered. And then conversations might touch those sensitive spots. This is an opportunity for that to be brought up so that you can bring healing to that area. Midweek, Uranus stations direct in the sign of Taurus. Whenever a planet shifts direction, so whenever it goes from direct to retrograde or vice versa, the energy around that planet is going to intensify. Uranus is all about sudden upheavals, chaos, and surprises. And so while this doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be chaos, it does most definitely mean that there's going to be some sort of surprise that we didn't see as Uranus goes direct. It has been retrograde for about the last 6 months. So something can feel unexpected or sudden when it comes to relationships, agreements, or situations that have felt stagnant. They may suddenly shift. Some connections could break apart, whereas others that have been in turmoil may just spontaneously reconnect. So the theme here is unpredictability. Try not to cling too tightly to the outcome. Then as we move closer to the 7th, emotions are going to swell. So those old wounds may come back up and resurface. Reactions may feel sharper, tongues may be more wicked, and more impulsive than usual. When tempers can flare more quickly, this is where breath becomes your superpower. Go on my website, download some meditations. There's some free ones on there too. They will be your friend. Find your peace. So pause before reacting. Make sure that you're responding with intention. Not everything needs to be addressed in the heat of the moment. Give yourself that chance to have a break. Adding to this, Mercury in Pisces. Mercury enters Pisces, and this is a sign where logic softens. Pisces is very spiritual and whimsical and creative, whereas like Mercury likes logic. It likes to communicate very clearly. And so whenever Mercury does enter Pisces, this can feel very uncomfortable and confusing. So this is great for spirituality and art, not so great for those concrete communications. And then we also have Mercury going into retrograde at the end of the month too, which just heightens all of that confusion and miscommunication. Next week is a shift in relationship energy. Venus squares Uranus, stirring a desire for excitement and novelty and emotional stimulation. Venus is bored and she's stirring the pot. So make sure that you are choosing adventure over arguments, and make sure that you aren't causing a fight just because you're bored, or causing drama or gossip or whatever that may be. Venus moves into Pisces, and this is where love becomes softer, more compassionate, and more romantic. Boundaries may blur, so stay aware, because again, it's that very dreamy sign. So make sure that you stay aware of what feels nourishing versus what feels like you're overgiving. One of the biggest collective shifts arrives whenever Saturn enters into Aries, which is on the 13th. This marks the beginning of a new chapter around responsibility, leadership, and action. Over time, many people will feel less patient, especially when it comes to like red tape, and you're going to see them more motivated to do things their own way. You're going to see a new line of leadership. Again, this is greatly affecting Aries, Sun, and Rising, as well as all the cardinal signs, Sun and Rising. So if you have an Aries Sun or Rising in Aries, you have already felt this. You have felt this for probably the last month, if not a little bit more, of just of where like you are noticing things that are triggering your anger, of where you're like, oh, this isn't right. I'm not going to stand up for this anymore. Especially with Neptune and Aries too, because Neptune is all about our belief systems and our spirituality. Okay, so by Valentine's Day, the energy softens again. Yay! And then there's room for heartfelt conversations, emotional closeness, and even deeper commitments. So let love be gentle, let truth be kind, and remember that not every discomfort is a setback. It's a moment that is being brought to your awareness so that you can heal it.